Before the platinum records, before the Cash Money empire changed hip-hop forever, there was a street legend, a real-life figure who lived the life most rappers only rhyme about. His name was Terrance Gangsta Williams, and he wasn't just affiliated with the Hot Boys, he was the original one. This is the rise, fall, and redemption of Terrance Gangsta Williams. Born in New Orleans, Louisiana, Terrance Williams came up in the notorious Magnolia Projects, a breeding ground for hustlers, dope dealers, and street politics. From a young age, Terrance wasn't just around the game, he was the game. Terrance was the half-brother of Brian Birdman Williams and Ronald Slim Williams, the co-founders of Cash Money Records. But while Baby and Slim were building a music dynasty, Gangsta was building a street empire. He formed a feared crew known as the Hot Boys, long before the rap group ever existed. These weren't entertainers. These were street soldiers, allegedly responsible for robberies, murders, and drug trafficking across New Orleans. Gangsta Williams was the muscle behind the brand. His name rang bells in the street, and his reputation for being strategic, loyal, and ruthless kept him ahead of many. But when you live by the code of the streets, it eventually comes with a price. In the early 2000s, the feds caught up with Terrance. He was indicted on federal charges, conspiracy to distribute heroin and cocaine, along with accusations tied to multiple homicides. Facing a life sentence, the walls closed in. The empire he helped build from the shadows was crumbling. Even with ties to Cash Money, there was no escaping the law. And this is where the story takes a controversial turn. In a shocking move, Terrance cooperated with federal authorities. Reports say he provided information that helped solve several cold case murders, though he claimed those individuals were already dead. This decision split the streets and hip-hop alike. Some called him a snitch. Others argued it was a smart play to secure his freedom, especially if nobody was going to prison because of it.
I don't know, if I lost a child, if someone killed my child, would I want to talk to them? In a controlled environment where I couldn't physically do nothing to them?
I would.
Did anyone ever actually try to fight you during those times?
No, I had one man shook my hand kind of like...
Extra hard?
Yeah,
like...
Yeah. I guess he was being respectful around the ages and the DA, prosecutor, but it's like, all right now, if I get a chance to see you, boy, you know, one of them, man. But sometimes, bro, I be sitting back thinking about the stuff that I had to go through, man, and these family members, and there was one family member, two of the sisters was like, no, we happy with him dying in prison. I'm like, whoa, hold on, you know.
Well, I mean, can you blame him though?
Yeah, I blame him. Let me tell you why. Because this is what we have bad, that once our family member is deleted, is taken off this earth, we feel like there was the best on the earth. But your family member participated in a lot of homicides as well. Your family member took a lot of people's lives too. Gotta be accountable for that. Some people might say, well, you ain't the judge, you ain't the person. Yeah, I am. Yes, I was. So, yeah, man.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, when bullets start to fly, innocent people get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Every day you hear about situations. So, are you saying that every single one of those 40 that you admitted to, the intended target was the person who died?
Yes, we never...
After serving over 20 years behind bars, Terrance Gangsta Williams was released from federal prison in January 2022. The original Hot Boy had stepped back into the world, but as a new man. Since his release, Gangsta has dedicated his life to changing the narrative. He now speaks to the youth, shares stories on YouTube, and warns others about the consequences of street life. He founded a non-profit organization focused on steering at-risk youth away from crime. Instead of glorifying the streets, he uses his past as a warning sign. Terrance has said publicly that he regrets his past, especially the violence and destruction it brought to his community. And in his own words, "I was once the problem. Now I want to be the solution." Not everyone is ready to forgive. Some, like Boosie Badass, have openly criticized Gangsta's cooperation, saying it violated the street code. But others have praised his transparency, redemption, and his willingness to use his platform for good. In the end, Terrance Gangsta Williams lives with both legacies: the feared street figure of New Orleans and the reformed man trying to right his wrongs. Whether you see him as a cautionary tale, a legend, or a man seeking redemption, his impact is undeniable.
Oh, and I also gave him some murders with Sterling and Dooney. So some of my people that I'm at odds with now, even BG was upset about it too, because they was like, man, you know, you tell it on the dead. You know, I didn't look at it like at the time. I was like, well, you know, this is a way I can get up out of prison. You know, I'm not testifying on no one. You know, I'm gonna give them this here. They're gonna cut my time. Cool, you know, but
Birdman didn't see it that way. According to the interview, Birdman said, you know, we all sat down at the table when we made these rules, and you chose to break those rules.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, do you think cooperating about someone who's dead, is that considered snitching in your book?
Yeah, of course.
Why is that?
And how you know he did he show you paperwork on it?
Well, I had actually looked up some of the things. So some of the stuff that he was saying, you know, was based on.
I wouldn't believe that Vlad, that he just did that and all that. Like, he's not what he gonna get for that? Like, I don't believe that. I had a real respect for Gangsta and the stories I heard about him, but you know, that shit leave with me. You know, I have no type of respect for him anymore. You know, what I had for him, that was because of all the stories and all that. But once you go that route, I dismiss you from my legend book and X you out.
Well, let's just say the story is true. So like I said, I haven't seen the actual paperwork. And
You haven't seen the paperwork. He could be telling you that just to be telling you that on fucking camera.
Right.
You know, he about to set up 100 motherfuckers. You know, that's how that shit go, man. You stay solid, nigga. Some of us gonna make it, some of us ain't. That's just how it gonna be. You know what I'm saying? You can take that gangster shit off your name, man. Real shit, man. That shit hurt me when I heard about that shit. You know, cause you know how all them niggas in that city stand up for gangsta and Angola, man. Them niggas talk highly of this man. You know, they stand on this nigga name. You know, and that shit hurted me to hear that nigga was out of jail and that nigga done got down. Cause them niggas in that city, they stand up behind that nigga. When I say Lee Luke, when I rep Baton Rouge and all my niggas, they gonna come up putting down and stand silent and put in work in the streets, they say gangster. That's one of the good names they say. And that nigga fucked that up with real niggas in the penitentiary. And I say that then I stand on my word about that. That's why I got pissed off, because them niggas in that city, they bowed down to that nigga. They speak highly of him and baby them. And that nigga fucked that up for them niggas. Now when the niggas say all niggas' names in BR, they ain't gonna be able to mention him.
Terrance Gangsta Williams may not have been on stage or in the studio, but without him, there might not have been a Hot Boys, or even a Cash Money Empire. He was the original Hot Boy, a street legend whose story reminds us that every rise has a cost, every fall has pain. But even in the darkest corners, redemption is possible.